Hello watch lovers! Now, looking for your first luxury watch can be a daunting task. There are just so many brands and models to choose from, and that's without even talking about micro brands. Don't get me started.
Okay everyone, we're going to be watching this video on Longines. So essentially my name is Daniel, and yeah, let's get this started. Please click like and subscribe, and this is just a reaction video.
However, there's always been one brand that has stood out from the crowd. A brand everyone should experience, first watch or not, and that's Longines. It's the ultimate affordable luxury watch brand, and here's why. Looking to buy, sell or exchange a luxury watch? Then visit watchfinder.com. Longines is a remarkable watchmaker with almost 200 years of experience. That's 16 more than
See, that right there is pretty cool. Like, it reminds me of literally those old school hotels, like where you go in the elevator, or escalator rather, or yeah, no, elevator. But basically, makes me think of that, and it's got this like classic vintage 1960s, 50s type of design to it.
Omega and 73 more than Rolex. Founded in 1832 by Auguste Agassiz and Ernest Francillon in the small Swiss town of Saint-Imier, where they constructed a workshop for assembling watches. At that time,
that satin look has like a pretty cool, like smooth, silky design to it. Yeah, same thing, like harkens back to like the 1950s and 60s too.
Components were all made in the homes of local watchmakers, so in 1867 Francillon decided to gather up all of these local artisans under one roof and establish a mechanised production system for creating high quality and precise watches. And in a nearby field he built a factory. And what was the name of that field, I hear you ask, and that's a pertinent question, I commend you. Well, the field was locally known as Les Longines, meaning long meadows. Francillon liked the name and decided to keep it for the brand. And the factory was a symbol of his vision and pioneering spirit, and is still operational in that same field to this day. And that pioneering spirit even extended to the fight against counterfeiters. Yep, that's right, fakes were floating about even in the 1800s. So to protect his creations from counterfeits, every timepiece that left that factory was engraved with a serial number, the Longines trading name and the winged hourglass logo. And this was before trademarks were even a thing. But when trademark laws were introduced in 1818, Francillon registered the brand, making Longines the oldest trademark in watchmaking. Longines' trademark move wouldn't be its only first in the watchmaking world, however. While the brand would produce its first chronograph movement all the way back in 1878, a constant pursuit for timekeeping accuracy through the years would see it produce the first wrist chronograph in 1913, the first high-frequency pocket chronograph in 1929, the first wristwatch with rotating bezel in 1930.
See, I like how he describes like a lot of the watch's history, because like really that brand has got a lot of history to it. And as far as that goes, I mean, there's a ton of watches that they pump out every year. And this particular one in design too,
31, and patent the world's first flyback chronograph in 1936. Then, from as early as 1949, Longines would adopt quartz technologies to make its
the rice grain style bracelet on it, and the internal, I don't know the technical term for it, I'm still new to this whole watch world, but basically that internal mechanism that you can move around too. So instead of like using a typical bezel, it's like an internal bezel inside of the watch, which is nice.
Timing of sporting events as precise as possible. And even now, Longines' pursuit of accuracy hasn't wavered, and in 2010 it even built a device accurate to a millionth of a second called the quantum timer. And these achievements wouldn't go unnoticed. Longines watches would be seen on the wrist of some of the most influential.
See, like, look at that dome sapphire crystal, or I'm assuming it's sapphire. Maybe it could be like a hexalite glass on top or something different, but that does look nice though.
All pilots and explorers like Amelia Earhart, Charles Lindbergh, Howard Hughes and many more. And if those testimonies as to accuracy and reliability of Longines watches weren't enough, the brand would also go on to keep time for some of the world's most prestigious sporting events, like the Tour de France between 1951 and 1987, the Formula One between 1982 and 1992, and the Commonwealth Games, which Longines has been the timekeeping partner of since 1962. Now, in recent times, amongst the timekeeping giants that are Rolex, Tag Heuer and Omega, Longines is somewhat overshadowed. But for us, avid wristwatch enjoyers, this can be used to our advantage. Because not many brands can offer what Longines can at the price Longines can. Heritage, precision, reliability, affordability.
They really do have good prices. And I mean, yeah, he's right. The heritage is there with Longines. And then on top of that too, yeah, they look great. Like, I mean, there's certain aesthetics to the Longines brand that's like very unique to Longines, and you really don't see it much anywhere else. I mean, maybe like sometimes it looks kind of like a Hamilton or Frederic Constantin, but at the same time, like it's its own thing, and that's pretty cool too.
Especially pre-owned. And one thing we haven't spoken about yet, choice. Longines' extensive collection and back catalogue of designs mean that it can cater for just about any taste. You could even build a pretty comprehensive collection within the brand itself. So if you're in the market for a dive watch, then Longines excels in underwater wearables for telling time. There's the excellent Hydro Conquest, and then there's this, the Legend Diver. This is a certified diver's watch revamped from Longines' original 1959 model. Instantly recognisable and immediately readable thanks to its rich lacquer dial with rhodium-plated polished arrow hands and superluminova coated markers, along with the distinctive inner bezel.
That's a good color. I'm assuming it's bronze. I forget if it's that or if it's like a steel with PVD coating, but that is a nice watch though.
Bezel, rotatable via one of the two crowns on the side. The case is beautifully finished and there's a splendiferously curved crystal over the dial. Comes in a range of sizes, making for a comfortable daily wear, and despite its sleek and stylish appearance, this is a performance dive watch with a COSC certified chronometer movement. If you're looking for something more subtle, with the elegance of a dress watch, then this, the Heritage Classic Sector Dial, will suit nicely. Another faithful recreation of one of Longines' historic models, this time from the 1930s. Showcasing the original Art Deco aesthetics with a sector dial layout featuring a two-tone concentric circle display segmented into 4 quarters and outlined by railroad track markings. The concentric circles are carried through into the radial brushing on the outer portion of the dial and within the Zen garden-like texture of the subdial at 6 o'clock.
That's pretty nice too. It's like a classy, like techie type of vibe. Almost like somebody that puts like a pen in their shirt pocket back in the 1950s, maybe type of deal.
The arrangement offers quick, precise time telling at a glance. With its perfectly weighted hands and crisp lines, it's clear and balanced. This is a watch of perfect proportions and flawless execution.
I like it for those that would wear it.
Now, with so many prominent aviators throughout history wearing Longines during their historic voyages, it makes sense that Longines is a go-to brand when it comes to pilots' watches, and this is the Longines Avigation Big Eye. The Big Eye refers to a large subdial on the right, a 30-minute chronograph counter with chunky 3-minute indicators, and the asymmetry of the Big Eye is compounded by the prominent chronograph pushers on the side of the case, while the ornate subdial hands at 3 and 6 add characterful detail. But those details aren't just there to look interesting and cool, as much as that may be the case. They're all there to aid the readability and operation of this watch for pilots. This is a practical instrument watch that honours the long established relationship between the brand and aviation.
Now the like diamond shaped hands there too, those are nice. That's pretty cool on the chronoscope hands. Almost looks like a card diamond as well too, which is nice.
But mainly the watch just looks interesting and cool. In a similar vein, we have this Longines Heritage Military Watch, again inspired by a watch from the past, this time the military aviation watches from the 40s. This is a clear, uncomplicated watch. You get a very simple dial, no text bar the Longines logo, and with readable numerals and minute track. The only thing that comes close to a flourish is the 3 rather ornate looking blued hands that pop out against the creamy dial. But actually, I suppose the dial surface itself is something of an embellishment, having been faux aged, tainted and speckled with flecks to appear directly from the era of which it's inspired. Not everyone's a fan of that kind of thing, but regardless, it does bring a certain amount of warmth and charm to the watch, and with its comfortable round case in 38.5mm on.
But you know, for a faux design, like that looks like very like vintage. Like it doesn't look like somebody took the watch and like scratched it up, took a butane torch to it, ran it through the dirt in their backyard. So that's nice, because like you don't want to see like a watch like that, you know. Unfortunately, like people do sometimes try to like age their watches, or you know, in some cases you'll find it where people actually just get some vintage watches where it's kind of just like stained on, or maybe the yellow is like too yellow. But this one though has a nice like warm like actual like look to it too. So nice.
On a worn leather strap, it looks very stylish and characterful. And then to round it all off with a choice chronograph, the Longines Heritage Chronograph 1940. It has some really lovely details, most notably the high mirror polish on the case and handsome blocky lugs. The dial is exquisite, rich in vintage detail like the dual subdial arrangement and printed railroad track minute markings. You get a vertical brushed texture on the dial underneath the beautiful rose gold.
See, the finish on this is like really good. Like this is like their brand is like really good at maintaining like good finishes on
And
their
polished rivet hour markers.
I don't know if that's like
This is another vintage reissue.
But like that's nice though. I think he wiped off whatever was on the watch, but no, I mean like looks pretty flawless. I mean, it looks like they have really good quality control, like great QC. Yeah.
As I'm sure you can tell by now, and I'm sure you can also tell by now why Longines is the ultimate affordable watch brand. Their fastidious approach to creating faithful reinterpretations of their classic watches demonstrates
that winding down, no pun intended. But yeah, basically that's it, everyone. Yeah, great video. I've seen the Watchfinder videos before. Phenomenal, great content. Yeah, take a look at them. And then yeah, while I'm getting started on all of this, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And it's Daniel. Peace out.